see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. I'm in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up. You see the drip, yeah, I'm fitted up. I'm in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up.
All right. Tonight, I have the special guest with me. And normally when you get on at least a podcast, and this will be in for the Tampa Bay Titans, and I'm Angel, the team broadcaster for your Tampa Bay Titans. Normally you get a player. And during the game, you guys ever watch, we have the 2 minutes with the Tampa Bay Titans. But tonight, I get to at least speak with the head coach of your Tampa Bay Titans, DeMarcus Berry. Coach Berry, first of all, thank you for coming on tonight. I do really appreciate it.
I appreciate you for having me, man. I'm excited to be here, talk some hoops, also talk Tampa Bay Titans and, the guys that I'm coaching. So I appreciate you for having me on the show.
No, listen, no problem whatsoever. And I hope as we know that they're on a 2-game win streak. It seems like forever since the last time we saw a game. And we just had the All-Star weekend this past weekend, which Pat Burnett ended up representing the Tampa Bay Titans on a dunk contest. So that was good to see that he had at least that accolade that he can go over up to New York and at least play a game out there. But All-Star weekend, it seemed to be very successful. I saw the social media tweets, obviously the game itself, and seems like everybody was having a good time, a lot of fun. I hope that maybe next year, coming my first year into the league, I'll be able to go up there, whether it's as a fan, whether to work, whatever the case may be. But wherever they plan to have next year, I hope to get there. So it was good to see him to see him play, and obviously to come back home. We're hoping to extend a 2-game win streak, and we know that you end up coming into the season here about halfway through as we get into the second half of the season. So I want to start pretty much with that one there. What do you see as far as the current state of this team? Where do they need to be, and what should we be looking for in the second half of the season?
Look, it's always tough taking over a team midway through the season. I mean, obviously, I had just came back from overseas coaching, and I came and I had 2 training sessions with the team, and we had 2 games. Working with a new team, I had some familiarity with some of the players, but my main goal was just to come in, implement my style of play, which is getting up and down, pace and space, sharing the basketball, and also just talk about winning. A lot of teams say they want to win, but I wanted to talk about winning in a way that the players could organically feel and see that we can be a successful team. So the state of the team is pretty much, we're on a 2-game win streak, but the guys are excited to get better each and every day and just to show their worth so they can get to the next level. That's the biggest thing that I like about this level is guys being able to show their value and progress to the next level around the world in different places.
Now, that's the one thing. You talk about the players, you talk about coaching, and we know you came from, you hopped on a plane, came from overseas to end up taking over the team. And it seemed like, at least to me, like you got right off the runway, got off the plane, Ubered into the stadium down there at Blake High School, and then started right up. But that's what it seemed like to me. So first of all, kudos for doing that, because I know it's tough for you, the head schedule you had, but you made things happen, and God bless you for it, because it's made a positive impact. Because for me as the broadcaster, I will say, being up in the stands and watching the team, it was night and day. As far as when you came in, you could see it. You could feel the energy off the crowd. It was uplifting when we saw them on Sunday. I mean, everybody could feel it. It was the most packed house that I've seen all season long, which was really good to see. But you can just see it off the players. Between the warm-ups, between practice, you can just tell that the vibe was completely different. So I want to say thank you to you for just coming in, taking over, putting on this 2-game win streak, because I know you have a lot going on. But it was nice to see they brought you back. Hopefully you'll stay there come next year. I know you might end up going back overseas again, because I know your schedule, like I said, is completely crazy. But is there any possibility that you will come back, I guess, if you can say so or not, if come back to the Titans for the 2023 season?
Look, this kind of happened organically. I didn't even have an intention to come back to coach, to be honest. Obviously, the team was mid-season, but I parted ways with the team I was with overseas, and me and my family live in Tampa, so I got the coaching itch again, and when I got the call, I thought about it, and it's just a great opportunity just to coach guys that want to get to the level, to get to the next level, because I was one of those guys. So for me, it was an easy decision. but I can't make any guarantees. Like, you just never know in this profession where you're gonna end up. I may be across the world in 2 months, or I may be staying here in the States. Just never know. You just got to take the opportunities as they come and just get better, so you can position yourself to be a really elite level coach where you can really kind of monetize your skill set. That's pretty much the goal that I'm on right now.
Well, listen, I'm going to tell you this much, right? Because now I'm going to switch a little bit here to the NBA side of the house. And I'm going to say this selfishly for my own self here, but coming from Philly, obviously living down here in the Tampa area, I will say if Doc Rivers cannot get our guys past the first round, I hope he does, because I absolutely love Doc Rivers. I love what he's done in his whole entire career. There's no other coach that I've seen, obviously, than your previous coaches when it comes to the Chicago Bulls, obviously Larry Brown from your Detroit Pistons. I mean, guys who've had a stellar career. But if Doc, and I can probably put in a good word with the Sixers, if Doc doesn't come back next year, because the rumors are that supposedly they may want to send him out to LA as well to go coach the Lakers, I'm going to put in a great word to have you come up there, because I think you can take this team to where it needs to be. Because I'm watching you with the professionals that we have down here in Tampa, but I would personally love to see you as a Sixers coach.
Look, we'll see, man. Look, obviously that's always one of the goals, to get to the to the highest level of basketball. But for me, I said I've been overseas like the last nine years of my life. I really enjoy the overseas lifestyle, experience the different cultures. Getting to the NBA is definitely one of my goals. But like you said, you just never know in this business. Like right. I didn't expect to go to Taiwan. That wasn't even on the radar, and I ended up going there. So now just obviously I just want to coach at a super high level, because that's where I feel I'm at. But you get better by coaching in these leagues like the TBL and coaching the Titans. I'm working with some guys that's hungry. They give me energy. We had a good workout today. These guys are hungry, and I feed off that. So I'm really blessed to be coaching in these type of situations.
No, it's a good thing. And speaking about Taiwan, first of all, it had to be, like you said, a shock going over there. What's the difference? And I want to remember too, and I know it will come to me, when the players end up going overseas. Good Lord, because they're about to there's a facility that's up there where they play the street ball, but they play in, is it the Philippines where they end up playing? LeBron's been over there. A couple of the other players have gone. There's, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. The name of the village where they go play. It's outdoors. It's an old apartment complex, and now they're thinking about actually taking it down there. But a lot of players have gone over there to play just like street ball and some ball, overseas for the kids that are there that want to play, that want to be inspired by the NBA players. And now I'm drawing a blank as far as when it comes to the place I'm talking about, and I'm almost certain it's in the Philippines.
Yeah, I mean, they love basketball in the Philippines. I mean, a lot of the Asian countries love basketball, but the Philippines is probably one of the most fan-loving NBA, just basketball in general. They love the game over there. The fans go crazy. That's one of the best countries where you can go to watch a game or just feel the atmosphere of the crowd and the fans. So it's probably definitely the Philippines. I don't know the name of the village as well, but I've known that a lot of players go there in the offseason because it's a beautiful place as well.
Yeah, and I want to get back to. I'm going to get back to here for the owner of the Tampa Bay Titans, but I also know that you were a head coach and player at the same time for St. George, and I have to ask, how is it like you can play? It's different if we do it on the street side version of it. If you do it on a high school level, and not being a player or coach, but hoping to be that at one point in someone's career. How was it to be able to do both at the same time? And then the structure you came because you had 5 players that moved up and were able to, they played at a higher level, I believe in Australia and overseas. And then at the same time too, they were able to get scholarships for American universities. So how much pressure was there as a player and a head coach at the same time? Because again, some people can't bounce a checkbook and walk down the street at the same time. So it had to be an intense amount of pressure to be able to do so.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think though that specific experience, me just being that, helped me evolve to the person and coach I am today. Really is just about sacrifice, doing whatever it takes to win, because that's really the the only objective is to win and, help players progress and, reach their full potential. But for me, it was relatively simple because I wanted to win and everybody that was on the team knew that I wanted to win. So sacrificing, me not playing as much, me just putting in the system and just being a people person. So I was able to do that, but also in return, it accelerated my communicational skills and me being able to implement a system. It kind of fast-tracked me in the coaching realm because I was really able to, understand what it takes to win at a relatively good level, and especially with some good players. So forever grateful for that experience.
No, it had to be, to me, again, it has to be exciting because for those of us who are able to play, whether, again, it was like 3-on-3 on the courts, some folks who are able to play the N1 mixtape, obviously, their interleague plays. If you live in the city, like for me, I was born and raised in Philadelphia, so a lot of that, especially at nighttime, that's where everyone was on the courts. If you weren't playing baseball during the summer, you were playing basketball. And a lot of times when we were done playing baseball, we go play basketball because it's all we knew. It was sports. In the inner city, I think where a lot of people end up kind of having like a misunderstanding is if you want to make something of yourself, first of all, the immense pressure you have upon yourself to be able to come out of your city that you already know there's tons of people competing to be better, to do better, to make sure they don't stay in a situation where they don't want to be, whether it comes from a good background, a bad background, whatever. They want to succeed in life. And that's what we all want to do. But when you play street ball, you'd hope that one day you're able to perform and at least get better so you can play at the junior level, then get up to high school, get up to the colleges, and then hopefully be able to make the opportunity of playing in the pros. But thanks to like the G League, obviously now with the basketball league, everyone at least has an opportunity to maybe hopefully make it into the NBA or exactly where they want to be, whether being here stateside or being overseas. And it takes good coaching. It takes a good staff to put people together to make that happen. And I know for the owner, for Basil Harfouch, for the Tampa Bay Titans, it has to be interesting the same way too of watching him play, which he had come from overseas to come play with the team about the 4th or 5th game in, if I remember correctly. And then also to be able to coach him and also talking to and dealing with the owner. How much of a transition is it? Is it easy to talk to him as a player owner, or is it two separate sides and you try to keep him as the owner and then talk to him as the player?
I mean, I don't look at it like that. I mean, I guess I'm different from other coaches. When I talk to Baz, he the player. He the player first. If I look at it any other way, it's not going to work on the court. But I think he does a good job of, separating the two. Does great business. Ironically, he's a good player as well. So it's easy to criticize him at times, but like as I always say, he one of the hardest players hardest working players I've been around. He put a lot of time into his craft, and when them lights come on, he ready to play. I know I can depend on him in that regard. But easy to work with him, man, because his business is really good, but also he works really hard at his craft, so we see eye to eye on a lot of different things, and it's easy to work with him. But for me, he's the player first. I look at Bass as the player, so that's why we're able to have a good relationship where, we can kind of try to make this Tampa Bay team a winning team, so this is my 2nd year with him, and, it's running like clockwork now.
Now, speaking about that, how is it, first of all, in going to your 2nd year of it, but being the first professional basketball team that Tampa has ever seen? Obviously, we saw Toronto come down here last year because of COVID, so that was something completely different. And I know Tampa is hungry for a professional basketball team, and we hope that with the move over to Blake High School, and everything takes time to build. As long as the team believes, the player believes, and everybody believes, we'll see this team continue to grow, keep building a fan base, and hopefully get to an arena size where you can have a sellout crowd at least for every home game. And it takes time. Your word's got to get out through social media and everywhere else in order to do so. But what's it like to be able to coach the first ever professional basketball team in Tampa?
Look, I mean, it's like I said, I played in the semi-pro league, so I definitely understand it. I understand the grind of it. I understand the value of it. I think the new location is really good because it's inside downtown Tampa. So as the team organically grows and the league organically grows and it gets more popular, I think that the fans and the crowds will come, but to be honest, this team is, really a platform for guys to showcase their skills to get to the next level and for guys, to stay competitive playing at a high level because there's a lot of good players in this league, especially last season. Like last season had a lot of good players that went on to do really good things the following season. So the TBL is definitely trending upward. And, the Tampa Bay Titans has a really good location right now. And I'm expecting more fans to start to pour in as we start to win more games and put together a better product on the floor. So I'm excited about the future.
Well, and as I said, I hope it's nothing but the best for the team, for the league itself, because they'll keep adding teams to the league. And that's really good to see because to me, I'm excited coming here for the first year, seeing what's going on, seeing the fan base, how everybody is, and even the fans. I think the funniest part on the last home game was you had one Tampa Bay Titan fan against what it seemed like 50 of the away team that was here last week or about 2 weeks ago. But it was all in fun. It wasn't like they were trash talking or anything else. But it's good to see that energy because at least you can see that the fan base is there. Like everybody's trying to put their energy into this home crowd. And it was such a tight game. It ended up being 105-102. And me being the broadcaster, it's like you're on the edge of your seat because you hope that they can pull off the win like any team that you end up following. But I think it's just the energy that they had in that game. And the point lead at one point, if I remember correctly, almost got up to about 16 points for the Titans. And then it's slowly you can see the team coming back to close it in, but they were still able to pull off the win. So with that also being said, and again, I know you're from Detroit. It's different when you're passionate from coming up north and wherever anybody else comes from. Me coming from Philly, I know the hard work, the grind you have to put in order to make a name for yourself. Being now a coach in the league, being a player in the league, is there a point in your life now that you can feel that if someone walks up to you to look up at you as a role model or a mentor, if they're going through a hard time, whether it's because they're trying to make it, maybe something personal in life or something else, what great advice could you give them now? You being a coach and coming through it and coming in from the city, what advice could you give them to not to, let's just say, just to even give up on any of their dreams?
Yeah, it's a quote that my college coach used to always say, plan your work and work your plan, so always got to have a plan of where you're trying to go, a mental roadmap of how you're going to get there, and just staying diligent and just trying to perfect your craft. A lot of people, say they want to do something in life, but they don't really give it their all or really put all the resources into perfecting the craft. So me, I'm all about self-mastery, just getting better and improving, and just being the best version of yourself and just competing. Like, that's what I'm about. That's what I always preach to all the teams, anybody that I interact with, just going hard and just having that will to compete to try to be the best at what you're trying to do. So that's the advice I can give because that's what I'm built off of.
Now, staying in Detroit, and the anniversary came up not too long ago. Now, do you remember the Malice in the Palace?
Of course, I was watching the game live on television, so like I said, I'm a diehard Piston fan, so I used to watch all the games, but I remember it vividly. It's kind of hard to forget. It's a famous incident, but it's something that gave Detroit a bad name for a minute, but it's something that the city also embraced as well, so it's kind of two sides of a coin.
No, it is. And I felt bad, honestly, for the players because it started, it's unfortunate the way it started. It started with a fan. That's the unfortunate part of it. And then the melee that happened afterwards. And I think the way the NBA handled it, because they were looking for that quick punishment, to me, and it's only my only opinion, is that it could have been handled a lot better. I don't think the players deserved what they ended up getting. Reggie Miller obviously wanting to be one where he was hoping for better expectations, and then they almost ended up taking Reggie Miller away as well in handcuffs. I mean, that whole thing was absolutely insane. And for a lot of people, if they're once they watch the podcast here, check it out because Netflix also has the documentary of it, of the Malice in the Palace. And it to me, it's a rich history part of the NBA. Even if someone says it's a dark shadow, it's things that happen naturally and organically, as you used earlier. And it's a shame the way it ended up falling out. But for me, I didn't see it as a black eye on Detroit because the way they made it out to be, it was just over dramatized. And I know, the other social media outlet, or now the other media outlets that were out there, they made it bigger than what it was. But I wish things would turn out differently because I know those players were definitely hungry. That was the year that Detroit should have won it all. And unfortunately, it didn't happen. But Detroit is slowly trying to rebuild. They're slowly trying to get back. I think you figured that the Pistons got to be at least, I would say, about maybe 2-3 players away from coming back and just dominating the NBA.
Yeah, they got some good talent, man. I mean, Troy Weaver, the new GM, he made some great moves, man. Like some great moves. Got Cade Cunningham, Marvin Bagley, Sadiq Bey. They drafted well. They getting young guys in return. They about 3 years away, to be honest. Like once those guys grow in their role, and they get a couple of vets around to, kind of fill the roster out, the Pistons going to be good. But again, Detroit just a hard-working city, man, so I love what the Pistons doing. I love the direction they trending in. And, management did a hell of a job, to be honest. They did a hell of a job drafting, getting players, and just putting that infrastructure in place. The Pistons play downtown now in the heart of Detroit, so that's good. They never used to play downtown. Used to play in Auburn Hills. So Detroit got a real authentic feel to it now with the Tigers being downtown, the Lions and the Pistons, So, Detroit is a city that's, kind of making a comeback, especially downtown Detroit. Really, really nice area.
Now, I will say since we're now in the playoff version of the NBA, at this point, we're going through the first round. Who do you believe, whether coming from the East or the West, who do you believe is going to end up winning the NBA championship this year?
It's tough, man. I mean, it take a lot of luck to win. Whoever stay healthy. I mean, obviously, you got to look at some of the top teams. I mean, the Bucks look like they're going to be having a good time in the East. The Heat is my dark horse team, even though they're a number 1 seed. I think the Heat can get some things done. I mean, obviously, it's going to be tough to go past Golden State. But whoever stays healthy, man, you just never know. I mean, the NBA is interesting now because it's a lot of teams that spread out. It usually used to be like 3 or 4 to 6 teams that can only win it. Now, you got Phoenix, the number 1 seed, they man guy out. Will they beat the 8 seed in the first round? You just never know. So it's a lot of variables involved.
Now, before I get off the NBA topics, I got one more thing here when it comes to the Knicks. Knicks started out strong this year, and I know there was a lot of high expectation for the Knicks. Not the expectation as far as like winning their division or going far in the playoffs, but they started out really well. And then it just seemed like the wheels fell apart again for the Knicks. And I know the Knicks aren't that far away from contending once again. Could you point, these, maybe put your finger on what happened with the Knicks this season?
I mean, obviously, Thibodeau, he come in, he get guys to play hard right away. That's his superpower. Like, he can go to any team, get guys to buy in right away. In year 1, they play hard. Year 2, sometimes they have a slump, but, I thought he did a great job of getting those young guys to play hard. They just got to get some players. Like, at the end of the day, they got to get some free agents. They haven't drafted particularly well the last 3-4 years, so they got to get some free agents, which I think they'll get some big name guys, but like New York, a hard city to play in. Very, very hard city, but I just give them some more time, man. Like, they just got to get some players in. Once you get a marquee guy, it's going to be a lot easier.
It is. I mean, it's the same way. I mean, again, because being from Philly, I'm a Sixers fan, and I hope that we can beat Toronto this time around. Sixers are up 2-0 in the series. They're playing again tonight, so I'll be able to catch at least a game as well. But listen, I've been with them when there was times, Coach Barry, there were times when you almost put on the brown bag like the Cleveland Browns did every once in a while, because you would go, and what they would do is at the Wells Fargo Center, they would bring everyone down to the lower part of the bowl, just to make it seem like it was a sellout crowd. And then we've been through it. They've given away tickets at the local radio station, and people didn't want them. Now, finally, that his team is turning things around, and it does take time. That's the one thing. You have to have a lot of patience. One thing with the NBA, you do have to have patience. You're not going to win all the time. Golden State went on a great run. Golden State also found out, too, injuries, moves from players going to different places. I mean, all that stuff comes into play. But they're trying to get back there again, and obviously they're there now. That doesn't mean that they're going to end up winning this year as far as the NBA title, but they get back there. So you do have to have a lot of patience, whether it's the G League, the NBA, whether it's even your high school team. It takes a while to rebuild. And even at the college level, which we've seen some coaches exit this year. They like Coach K, he's done. And then you had a brand new coach from the Tar Heels that almost end up winning it all. So, I mean, it takes time. It's all a process. And that's the one thing I think as fans sometimes that we forget, that even though, yes, we can be with a team at the worst of times, but enjoy those moments when they're at the best of times, because you never know what's going to happen next.
Yeah. I mean, you a Philly fan, it was tough for you. Like, they was experimenting for a lot of years.
Yeah.
A lot of crazy experiments, and it worked for them, to be honest, because they was able to get some studs in the draft, and Ben Simmons. They drafted really well, but it took about 4 to 5 years of a lot of losses to get to that stage. So obviously always want to root for the underdog. I mean, they're not the underdog now, but they've been through some tough times. Hopefully they can get it done. You got the pieces. No excuses after this year. You can't have no excuses with the roster they got right now.
No, you can. You absolutely can. And the Ben Simmons saga was over. He's out in New York. Now he's going to do whatever he's going to do out there in New York. So that's one less thing to worry about. But I hope they're able to pass at least the first round for Doc Rivers as well. Because like I said, I think he's one of the better coaches in the NBA. So I hope he's able to at least pass that first round. But my final 2 questions I have for you. One is, during the offseason, which you barely have an offseason, again, because you're going from overseas to stateside, when you are in your offseason, you have, let's say, a week, 2-week break in between. What do you like to do, whether it's time with the family, something personal you like to do, and then what gets you ready for that next step in your career?
Look, man, be honest with you, man, it ain't really no off season, like, especially in the overseas market, because like now I'm looking for my next opportunity. Like, once the Titans in, I'm looking for my next opportunity, whether I try to go back overseas or whether I try to stay here in the States. So it ain't really an off season because I'm always looking for my next opportunity. I would love to just have a off season where I know I'm going back to this team. This is the team I'm with for the next 2 years. I haven't had that luxury as of late, but in my spare time, I like to play poker. I'm an avid poker player.
Okay.
I like to play chess as well, but outside of that, I like to spend time with my family, spend time with my loved ones, and also just help other players that's trying to progress in the game. I spend a lot of my time, trying to help players get to the next level, whether that be making phone calls for them or connecting them with an agent or a team. That's one of the things that I enjoy doing and I love doing is, giving back, trying to help people get to the next level.
Listen, and it's much appreciated because, like I said, I could feel the vibes when I was there, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to feel it again on Sunday when we're back in there. And by the way, for everyone who's going to the game this Sunday, it is an all-white out this Sunday. It is much needed support. They're 4-7, the Tampa Bay Titans. We hope that things get turned around for the month of May so we can make a good playoff push. And I believe it can happen and that it will happen. I know the Gulf Coast Liners are coming up with the Raleigh Firebirds, so I know this can get turned around. And I believe it in my heart. I believe with the energy with the people that end up coming into the home game. So we hope there's a sellout coming out this Sunday. That way we can just have everybody pretty much partying at the end of the game. So I appreciate everyone as much as Coach Barry does and the entire Titans organization that, for the people who've come out, they support it, whether it be on TBLTV.TV, buying the merchandise. We appreciate everyone doing that as well. But the final 3 speed round questions that I have for you. One is, who's your favorite player? The other one is your favorite movie. And then you gave me a famous quote, but I'm going to ask you again, what is a famous quote that you appreciate?
Favorite player? What is this, of all time?
All time.
Obviously it's Kobe, but I'm not going to say Kobe. Paul Pierce or Chauncey Billups. Two of my favorite players of all time.
Both good players.
Yeah, for sure. Favorite movie? Good question. The Godfather 2. That's up there. Godfather 2.
That's a good one.
Favorite quote? Got a lot of them, man. All battles are won, but before they are fought. Sun Tzu, Art of War. Great book.
That is a good one. Listen, Coach Berry, I appreciate the time with me tonight. Let's hope that the team once again keeps going on that win streak. I know it's tough, but you have the guys going the right place. You have them in the right headspace. And I know during warm-ups, I can see it myself, how good these guys, how much they're going to challenge themselves. So I do appreciate you coming back to the team. I do appreciate you being the coach of the Tampa Bay Titans. And good luck this Sunday, because I do appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show. It was a pleasure talking basketball. I see that you're an avid basketball lover. Definitely want to see you at the game supporting the Titans. We're on an upward trend right now. We just got to keep getting better. The goal is to make the playoffs and see where that takes us from there, you know. So I feel we got the tools in place. It's just up to us to execute and be ready to compete on a daily basis. But thank you for having me on the show.
No problem whatsoever. And to everyone else, thank you for viewing the show. You'll be able to obviously watch it on TampaBayTitans.com. So look for that. Also, for the upcoming games, season tickets, merchandise, please visit TampaBayTitans.com on the Tampa Bay Titans podcast. Again, Coach Berry, thank you so much. And for everyone else, we will see you on the next podcast. Enjoy the game and have a great night.